Self-proclaimed biggest boxing promoter in the world.
Jeez.
Chairman of the world-famous Matchroom Boxing. And man who chats to Anthony Joshua almost every friggin' night.
I spoke to AJ last night.
The man who possibly saved British boxing from the ruins around a decade ago. This is a brief history of the one and only Mr. Eddie Hearn.
It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. Let's get ready to rumble!
Born Edward John Hearn on the 8th of June 1979, Eddie is the son of legendary sports promotion mogul Barry Hearn of Matchroom Sport. Born in Dagenham and raised in Essex, Eddie had a tough upbringing, spending his youth in a tiny 11-bedroom house in Brentwood. Each morning he woke up with the difficult decision of diving in the swimming pool or playing in the 18 acres of land he had for a garden. It must have been awful.
Yeah, definitely.
Never quite embracing school and possibly neglecting his education, Eddie instead found his love for sport and particularly boxing from hanging around with the likes of Prince Nassim and that great big tit with a monocle, Chris Eubank.
1 minute. Please, carry on.
He decided to try on a pair of gloves in his teenage years and had 3 amateur fights of his own, managing to beat up a few fat kids. The boxing career, however, was short-lived.
Yesterday's news.
It was after completing college that Eddie got a job selling shit windows to a bunch of mugs on the phone. He wanted to cut his teeth in the real world and set his ambitions high. There was a guaranteed job at his dad's company, but decided he wanted to step away. He made his way to the bright lights of London to earn a pound note with honest toil and sweat. He wanted to make it to the top and become a somebody, to prove to the world he could do it all by himself without anybody else's help.
Are you with me?
And then a few years later he thought, nah, fuck that, I'll go work for my dad.
Oh, go on then.
Eddie joined Matchroom in his late 20s, helping to promote poker tournaments all over the world. It was one particular tournament in Vegas where he met sensational heavyweight boxer Audley Harrison. Little did Eddie know, but this was the start of his incredible journey into the boxing world.
Are you up for the test?
Eddie convinced Audley that he could rebuild his failing boxing career and get him a huge heavyweight fight against the formidable David Haye, which he could almost certainly win by knockout.
But I mean, I want an 11-inch penis. It's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that from his window selling days, Eddie learnt to talk a lot of bollocks. But at the end of the day, this man could sell shoes to a fucking snake, so fair play to him. After a few grueling bouts, Eddie delivered on his promise and got Audley the fight he wanted against the feared Haye. Eddie used his bollocks to convince the world Haye was finished and Audley had his number. That Haye had never come up against a ferocious machine like Mr. Harrison, and he had the tools to finish the job in style.
Harrison says this is his destiny.
Turns out that Audley was actually completely fucking useless and Haye beat him up in 3 rounds.
Oh, fuck off.
But little did Edward know that his mouthful of bollocks had created a ripple in the boxing world. Soon the phone started ringing off the hook for his promotion, with the likes of Kell Brook, Darren Barker and Marv from Home Alone all wanting what Matchroom could provide. Eddie began to realise the power of social media and use it to his advantage, teaming up with legendary Coogie Bear of IFL TV, which began making waves across the YouTube world.
Out the way. Excuse me. We're coming in.
Creating some of the biggest fights in boxing from 2012 onward, Eddie was flamboyantly making his mark, promoting spectacles such as the incredible rivalry between Marv and George Groves, taking Darren Barker and Kell Brook to America to win their world titles, and the phenomenal pay-per-view showdown in Liverpool for Cleverly Bellew 2. Well, maybe not that one, because it was fucking pants. But either way, the word was spreading and a new era for British boxing had begun. Then, one fateful day in 2014, Wembley Stadium was sold out for the rematch the world was waiting for. London was brought to a halt by the Sticky Bandit and the Little Bald Ginger Bloke. The highest selling British fight ever. The Cobra destroys the Saint with one incredible punch in front of 80,000 people. Carl Froch will never forget that night, but he hardly ever fucking mentions it.
My last fight before I knocked out George Groves at Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 fans.
Matchroom boxing had fully landed. The takeover had begun. Eddie's arrival to the UK stage was greeted with plenty of animosity from other UK promoters, and especially one in the shape of Hall of Famer Frank Bricktop Warren. Frank had been on the scene for many years and created his own boxing channel, Box Nation, which had a huge subscriber base of about 12 fucking people. Frank was not a fan of Eddie's rise and would rather have done a bit of gardening with Fred West than do any fucking deals with Matchroom.
This is bullshit.
Eddie knew he needed exposure on the biggest channel, so he fought tooth and nail with Sky Sports for a deal to solely air Matchroom shows and no other promoters' shows.
This is what we're fighting for on Saturday night. Do you understand me, you slag?
The deal was approved and Hearn had done it. The biggest sports platform in the UK was to be home of Matchroom boxing, the biggest audience available on British soil, and he had achieved it all by himself. Well, maybe with a little help from his dad since he knew everyone at Sky, but still, all in all, a big fucking success.
Count me in. Thank you.
Whilst all this was going on, Eddie had a little ace up his sleeve. A heavyweight attraction with a smile to land the biggest brand deals. A smart boxer with a body like a Greek god to match. The world would soon know his name. The Olympic gold medalist and vicious knockout artist. The incredible, the amazing, the absolutely ferocious Audley Harrison. Anthony Joshua. Signed by Matchroom from his debut, Anthony was turning heads with a string of knockouts comparable to that nutty fucker Mike Tyson. Joshua blew Eddie's hair transplant all the way back, and it became their sole mission to become heavyweight champion of the world.
The fighter he once was, and a right hand lays him out. Beautifully timed by Anthony Joshua.
The division was lighting up at the same time when the Gypsy King took his caravan over to Dusseldorf to outbox the Terminator and pick up all the belts.
From the United Kingdom, the new worldwide heavyweight champion of the world.
Fury soon relinquished the belts. Meanwhile, Joshua knocked out a load of Uber drivers and earned his shot at a vacant world title as well. The time had come. Judgment Day had arrived.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Edward had landed AJ his first world title fight against the current world champion, the relatively unknown entity, formidable opponent and self-proclaimed god of boxing, Mr. Charles Martin.
I walk this earth like a god. You see what I'm saying? That's what I am. I'm a world champion now, and I'm gonna keep it. She's staying right there with me. Ain't going nowhere.
Well, this is it. Is it the coming of age of Anthony Joshua? The sense of anticipation. Let's get ready to rumble!
So I'm gonna knock him out, period. I promise you. When I see it, I'm gonna do it. We'll see levels. I am a god.
What's that all about?
In 2 rounds it was over. A new heavyweight king had arrived. The world looked on thinking, fuck me, why did I pay 20 quid for that?
Taking the piss.
Yeah.
But Edward had done it. AJ was world champion and the remaining belts were in their sights. Mr. Fast Car was flying.
But listen, I'm not surprised. Look at this combo. Unbelievable. I'd be obsessed with me.
So there we are. Mr. Eddie Hearn for you. Coming into this world with absolutely nothing except ambition and dreams and an 11-bedroom house with a butler, Eddie had taken Matchroom from a multi-million-pound business to a kind of little bit more multi-million-pound business, and all on his own.
What's up?
Well, with quite a lot of help from his dad's power and contacts, but a lot of it on his own. God bless that Mr. Hearn, let's be honest, we all fucking love him. Tune in to see where the story goes from here. Thanks for watching. Boxing Bruv over and out. Arrivederci.
Thank you very much.